Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about my 5 tips that I would give myself like when I was 18 to be more confident. I would just say my 5 rules in general for anyone, no matter what stage in life you are. Whether that means that you've just finished high school, you're still going through high school, in your early 20s like me, or moving forward, you know, you might be a little bit of a late bloomer when it comes to like, you know, self-improvement, things like that. So we're going to get started. This is for anyone. This isn't like men, women. This applies for anyone. Like usually a lot of this advice is applied to men, but it works for honestly anybody. So let's begin. My tip number 1 is that you begin your day with a mindset of like that day is going to be very intentional with what you do at that time. You always want to be working towards some kind of goal, your next level up in life, if you will, like the next big thing that you want to get done. Like a lot of your day should be geared towards that. So for me, for example, I'm going to be leaving the United States to start traveling again. I'm a travel vlogger, and so what I keep in mind during the day is basically am I either working or I am doing something that, you know, helps me towards my next goal. So I'm studying to be a data analyst, and I'm also, you know, doing research on the places I'm going to go when I travel. So those are some things to keep in mind. I do try to entertain myself a little bit. Like I spend a lot of time on YouTube, but most of that content is either something that like has to do with the places I'll be going. Like I'll watch content from creators that are like making content in the Philippines, which is the place that I'm going to end up eventually. You know, it's I take a lot of content creator tips on YouTube. I mean, there is like a small portion of what I watch. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV, but there's a small portion that I watch that is entertainment. But you do want to kind of minimize that because right now we live in a day and age of consumerism. And so if you want to kind of stay where you're at, that's totally fine. But if you want to move forward, then you want to minimize the amount of like the time you're spending on any type of entertainment. Whether that means TV, movies, although movies would be better because nowadays we do have short attention spans. So if you can work on focusing on one thing for like an hour without distracting yourself with something else, that's something that I struggle with. So if you're going to entertain yourself, gear towards movies. But most of your time should be geared towards either study, like if you have a business, you need to be doing, you know, putting in the time to, you know, cause your own success. Like if you're a businessman, then you need other people to support you, or a businesswoman, business person. And why would they support you if you're not supporting yourself? If you're not investing that time into yourself, why would they? So keep that in mind. Alrighty, my tip number 2 is to always be okay with making mistakes. You know, we all make them. You're human. If you're a perfectionist, you know, you might create an amazing thing, whatever you're doing. You might create amazing work ethic, you might create a lot of results in your work, you might create some sort of amazing piece of art if you're an artist or actor or whatever, but we all make mistakes. So like while you do keep in mind that you do want to be the best that you can, always be willing to screw up a little bit, because the more you screw up, the more you can do well. Like Babe Ruth, for example, record holder in home runs, but also record holder in strikeouts, so keep that in mind. Now tip number 3 is a little bit unrelated to the other 2 that I already talked about, but I really think that hygiene and like having your own sense of fashion slash, you know, outfit, those are really important. Like for the longest time, I really didn't focus a whole lot on the hygiene. People hated me because I smelled bad. And the minute I started, you know, making sure that I was bathing at least every other day, you know, brushing my teeth, that's something I need to work on. That's one of the things that I'm pretty conscious about, is the way that my teeth are so yellow. So you don't see me like show my teeth a whole lot because I'm a little anxious about that. But you know, focus on the things that you can improve on. Like my hairline, I'm also a little bit nervous about that. So you see me wearing hats a lot, and so what I'll do is as part of my getup, I'll usually wear a hat to kind of cover up my hair. Right now I'm just a little relaxed, so you guys get to see the natural look. But I usually like to, you know, focus on the things that I can work on. Like I do go to the gym. I work on my physical health. You know, I'm dieting, and so that's one thing that you can do to kind of you know, improve yourself in that way if you so choose to. But one of the things that's really easy to do is just make sure you're bathing, make sure you are, you know, washing your face, things like that. And if you have you know, the kind of money, you can wear like cologne, any kind of fragrance, or any kind of perfume, whatever your preference is. Make sure you're deodorized, because people do really pick up on how much you smell, and they will treat you better if you smell great. So smells and looks. Like, find a fit, find an aesthetic that makes you feel confident. If you wear a certain set of clothes that makes you feel confident, I would highly recommend wearing that. A lot of people have given me compliments in this shirt, so I happen to wear it a lot, but it just feels great. Pick an outfit that makes you feel like yourself, and if you don't like one, then just try out some other ones. You might have to stretch the budget a little bit to kind of test out different clothes, but you do want to find an outfit that makes you feel confident at the end of the day. Now, my tip number 4, I mean, I might have talked about this a little bit before, about like what kind of content that you're watching, what kind of content you're consuming. A lot of what we take in really affects the mind, so you need to be careful what you're watching. If you're watching a whole lot of, you know, the news, like I heard someone say that if you watch the news all day, you'd think that the world was ending. So make sure that you're not watching too much, unless it's literally your career. I would highly suggest staying away from politics. Like, unless that's something you're really passionate about, honestly, it does affect your character, and so I would highly stay away from anything like controversial as much as you can. I try to. I fail at this all the time, but I do my best to kind of stay away from anything that like causes emotions that I really am not prepared to deal with at the moment, and because that'll waste a lot of your time, and it also has a negative effect on the mood you have and the way that you treat people. So make sure that you're consuming positive, like uplifting stuff all the time. That's one way to really help yourself be more confident, be more you know, wholesome. You know, treat people well, like, because you know how they say you are what you eat. Well, you also are what you consume. So if you're consuming positive content, it's a lot easier to put out that positive energy. You are a vessel, and so what you're taking in is what you can put out. Does that make sense? And my last tip of the day is go freaking earn your confidence, because it comes down to taking action. There are things that you wanted to do for 1,000,000 years, and things that you're gonna wait to do for another 1,000,000 years. Instead, do it now. If you have the resources, if you have the opportunity, go do it. Like, if you've just been saying like, oh, eventually I'll get to it. No, you're not gonna get to it. You're gonna go do it, and then you're gonna feel like a freaking boss. You're gonna pat yourself on the back, and you're gonna say, wow, I went and did it. I freaking did the thing that was on my mind. And if it's something that you're like afraid of, go back to my last tip on screwing up. You're probably gonna screw up. I made a lot of mistakes. Like, one of my biggest goals this year was to go to the Philippines, and then I ended up stuck in Hong Kong, lost most of my money. I screwed up. I came back to the United States. I have more money now. I can go back and I can figure things out. So keep that in mind, is you need to go into something knowing that there's a possibility, in fact a likelihood of you failing. But if you're not failing in life, you're not doing anything. If you're not failing in life, you're not doing anything. Like, you're not accomplishing anything if you haven't had any kind of failures. So at the end of the day, as much as I wish I could give you confidence through this screen that you're watching through, just give it to you. That's not how it works. You have to go get it yourself. And with that, I have to end this video. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Go be the change you want in the world. Baboosh.